So if you take a look at history, you notice that from the rise of Christianity into Christendom is where we get what we call basic humanity, our basic morals, vices, virtues, things like that. This is different with the Vikings. This is different with the Romans, various pagan groups, very different. You could say there's some similarity with Zoroastrianism, Zoroastrianism being probably the closest religion to Christianity. And I'm talking about historic Christianity here, not the Pentecostals or the Baptists, although they still have parts of this, at least maybe possibly 200 years ago, or 100 years ago, they had, not the Pentecostals, but what are the enemies? What is the anti-Christian thing? I mean, it's funny to see groups that should oppose each other that are locked in arm just to go against Christianity. Atheism, Islam, feminism, communism, blind, laissez-faire, anarcho-capitalism. All will, I mean, even, you could have suicide bombers attacking every day and have the Christians being the most persecuted group on the planet, and this has been happening not just the last 20 years, last 100 years, and yet atheists will harken back to things like the Crusades. Even though the Crusades were political and defensive, people seem to miss that. Or there'll be misdirections and lies, like they'll start quoting the Old Testament as if Christ didn't abrogate and annul the practice of Levitical law, and that the only sect that said it was good was the Ebionites, and they were gone by the 4th century. So that all the history of the entirety of the history of the church, there was no Levitical law practice. There was no stoning or anything like that, especially stoning because of the story in the Bible. Human sacrifice was outlawed. Christianity ended slavery 3 times within the last 2,000 years. Our basic rights, women's rights, women being equal to men, peppered throughout the New Testament. There's no, I mean, even the first creation myth has man and woman being made equally. So yeah, does anybody else find it strange that the quote-unquote anti-theists will turn a blind eye to what happened in El Salvador in the 1980s, what happened in Mexico in the 1930s, what happened during the French Revolution, what happened during the Holodomor, all the massacres, and then say, oh well, Christians had killed atheists during the Spanish Inquisition, which even the BBC showed that it was a hoax prompted by the King of England. And that's not just some fallacious charge. People, if they want to question me on that, I'll make a series of videos about that. I already have videos on that. But yeah, the Marxist atheists, the anti-theists, the anarcho-capitalists, the feminists, the Muslims, the anti-Christian Jews, the Zionists, all lock arms to attack historic Christianity, even though one might be a bigger threat than the other. You know, a narco-capitalist and communist, Zionist Israeli Jew, and violent Islamist. Something to think about. Oh yeah, not to mention the Freemasons. Peace to you.